Hi, I'm Andrea Valdez and I'm bringing you the Manual 2.0. Today we're here at the WWS Stables in Helotes, Texas. I'm joined by Lene Martin. She's been an instructor for about 15 years and been riding since she was about 5. And we're also here with Trooper. And today we're going to learn how to barrel race. Well, Lene, I thought I'd ask you a few safety tips first because that seems to be the most important thing before you get on a horse. So you mind telling me just some of the gear and then just some of the things that we need to be aware of before we actually hop on a horse?
Okay. One of the first things is finding kind of the right match of a horse to be on, and a lot of times that's in the hands of the professional that you're dealing with, and hopefully they'll help match up your riding skills with the type of horse that's a good teacher. And various levels of horses can be traded out as the rider gets more developed and their skills get honed in on. As far as the actual safety precautions that in fact we're going to use today, one would be a helmet. That's always safe. Yes, gotta save that. And for your safety too, the boots are very important with a heel that helps keep your foot in the stirrup. I always prefer to wrap my horse's legs, and these are also known as a split boot. There's several different types. This part is going to help protect the leg, just like in any athlete. We're also helping protect the tendons and ligaments. There's a fine little bone here on the inside of their leg called a splint bone. We want to help protect that. They might interfere with themselves and their front legs, and especially as they start increasing their speed to and around the barrels. This boot is going to help again for interference, keeping from overreaching in their back feet, maybe stepping really far forward, keeping them from striking their front feet. So these are pretty vital, especially on your as your speed increases and your athleticism really increases in the horse. There's all sorts of saddles to look at. This is a barrel saddle, and it's made with a little more minimal leather than some of my other work saddles I might have. In order to be lightweight, it's also fitted pretty deep for the rider so they can feel really secure as they're taking off from a complete standstill practically and hitting a high rate of speed.
Okay, I'm here with Joy Norris. She's been barrel racing since she was about 5 years old, and this is her horse, Hasty Salvation, and they're going to do a demonstration of how to barrel race.
Joy's going to demonstrate a slower version of this. You can execute this pattern starting with either barrel on the left or the right. She prefers to go to the first barrel as her right one, and now she's going to make a left-hand turn around her second one. There are a couple of things that she's looking for. One is to make sure her horse is kind of setting himself up and finding what we call a pocket as she approaches that barrel, making sure he's got just enough room to have a nice little bend in his body and sit down in the ground so that as he's finishing the turn in the barrel, he's close and ready to take off in a straight line for the next barrel. The hat in any competitions with any of the associations that the girls run in, they have to figure out a way to keep that hat on. So
it comes off, is there a penalty?
There are penalties, there's fines, or there's penalties depending on which association you're running in. So she has, in her hat, she's got a stampede string on. So that shows you know, actually what she would be wearing if she were to be running in an association pattern.
All right, so now we're going to see it full throttle.
Yeah, we're going to see it a little faster. The ground is pretty vital because we don't want the horse to be able to slip as he's approaching and heading around the barrel. Too deep, horses tend to get kind of bogged down and stay in the dirt too long. Too hard packed, too slippery, the horses might not be able to get in the dirt and get good traction. Today's dirt is pretty good because we've had some rain on it.
What happens if you miss a barrel?
You are disqualified.
So if you knock it over, there's a fine. What happens if you touch it?
If you knock the barrel down, you get a 5-second penalty, which is usually going to put you out of the running in any of the tougher competition. If you don't execute the pattern accordingly, you are disqualified. In other words, if your horse maybe ducks out and does a turn before the barrel, or if you don't make it between the first and the second barrel as you come home, you're disqualified. So have you ridden at all?
I've ridden a couple of times, but that's the extent of that. And when I say couple, I literally mean two.
The kind that you put a quarter in?
Pretty much, exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's... well, I've learned how to barrel race, and I just want to thank Joy so much for showing me how to do it and leaving a track for me to follow out there. And thank you, Lene, for teaching me how to get on the horse and ride and everything. I really appreciate it. And Trooper thanks you too. You did a good job.
Great. You did great for your first time, so I was glad to have you.
Thank you.